Mary visits Elizabeth. What did you miss out? We tend to recall the visit of Mary to Elizabeth and skip lots of details. We are talking about Luke chapter 1 verses 39 to 56. And as we recall this, we are skipping lots of details. You have lots of questions. And these are the questions that makes this text very interesting. Was Mary running away to take shelter or not just to help Elizabeth? Is Elizabeth Mary's cousin? These are the questions that really bog us. Let's discover the message. Let's discover the answers for these questions and more. How does Mary come to know about Elizabeth's pregnancy? This is a very simple question. But if you look at the text, we discover that Mary had learned about Elizabeth's pregnancy from the angel. And only after that she plans to visit Elizabeth. And during this visit, that the conversation that is brought before us is very intimate conversation. And the conversation rather focuses on Jesus as greater than John. The conversation focuses on God transforming the world and really reconstructing the world, shattering expectations. The spotlight is on Mary and Elizabeth, lowly and shamed, whom God chooses to transform the world. Is Mary running away to take shelter? The Gospel speaks about Mary going to visit Elizabeth in a haste. What was the hurry? Mary said yes to the announcement of the angel to be the mother of the Lord. But there are implications of Mary's response in a patriarchal society. Now you need to imagine a young unmarried girl pregnant. The society would immediately ostracize her, shame her. So Mary is in a haste. Is Mary in a haste to go to her relative's place to shelter herself? There any girl who finds herself in such a situation would definitely hide indoors, not take a journey outside to another town. Or was Mary going to her relative to take shelter itself? Now these are the questions that really come to our mind, and the answers to these questions are really allow us to appreciate this message of Mary's journey to her relative Elizabeth. It's very fascinating. The scripture says Mary visited the home of Zechariah and Elizabeth. And that's it. Perhaps because Mary knew that Elizabeth is 6 months pregnant and she could be of help to her and to the newborn. And perhaps Mary was paying respect as a young girl to an elder. Is Elizabeth Mary's cousin? Now Luke identifies Elizabeth as Mary's relative. There is no exact mention about the relationship status. Now, most people think about John the Baptist and Jesus are cousins based on Luke chapter 1 verse 36. But that verse technically does not communicate the relationship status. Looking at the age of Elizabeth, we can come to know that Elizabeth must be one generation senior to Mary, and obviously that would become Mary's aunt. But why would Elizabeth express honor at Mary's visit? So the cultural situation was such that older women would receive honor. Now Mary as a young girl would be expected to honor her elder relative. Now in addition to this, Mary is a young girl who is found pregnant and she is running to her cousin to avoid the visibility of a shameful pregnancy. But the gospel doesn't talk about this. So why is Mary called blessed among women? Is Mary called blessed because she is the mother of the Lord? Yes. But more so, Mary is called blessed because of what is there in her womb. Jesus, the Son of God. And therefore the present and the future generation will call Mary blessed, speaking well of her and of her child. Mary is blessed because she believed, not just because she was supposed to be the mother of the Lord. Now, Mary believed that there would be a fulfillment of what the Lord has spoken to her. The word blessed in this particular verse that is used is the same word that Jesus uses to bless the people in the Beatitudes. If we had to translate this word, then it would be, blessed is she who believed. Mary is blessed despite all expectations. Her social status is reversed Mary is honored, not shamed. Mary believed that God can do what God promised to do. Blessing is based on the right relationship with God. What is the background of Elizabeth praising Mary? Now, Elizabeth is contrasting Mary's response to say yes to God to her own husband, Zechariah, who was skeptical and started to question the angel. While Zechariah was demanding a proof from the angel, Zechariah was a religious professional who was doubting what the angel is saying. Contrast that to Mary, a peasant girl who is trusting in the promise of God that God could make this happen. And Elizabeth is celebrating Mary's willingness to say yes to God. So why is Elizabeth a better person to understand Mary's situation? Older women in that context would insult, shame, and even ostracize unmarried pregnant. Now, Elizabeth herself had seen how the society had ostracized her, shamed her for being barren. She lived in a society that women's primary purpose in life was to bear children. So imagine the burden an infertile wife would carry throughout her life. And Elizabeth could understand that situation. Even welcoming Mary is a pattern of social reversal. Just because Elizabeth has welcomed Mary, her neighbors would ostracize and shame and insult Elizabeth because she is sheltering an unmarried pregnant woman. But Elizabeth is displaying this powerful, inclusive love that is displayed by Jesus to welcome prostitutes and sinners. So the message is about staying open to God's ways in the world, sometimes contrary to the social expectation, and sometimes even contrary to the unhealthy structures that shame others. We are called to support and wait in hope for the promises of God to be fulfilled in the world, in our life, in your life. Coincidentally, today we also celebrate the feast of the Assumption of Mary. We saw the beginnings in this passage, and today we are celebrating almost the culmination, that Mary is assumed into heaven. And this is the text that will tell us how this whole story started in this life of the young girl called Mary. We are looking at the reward, but we have to also see the journey. The message of the Assumption of the Lord is to understand the journey, be part of it, and then God will definitely fulfill His promises into your life. As God continues to fulfill His promises in your life, as He fulfilled in the life of Mary, be ready and open for God's ways into your life. And once again, as I conclude, I would appreciate you giving this video a like, share this video with others, and if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, that would be great, and share this gospel with others. See you in the next video.